Time for sports with the XFC bantamweight champion Aaron Toe. Got another defense coming up in a few weeks' time, man. It's been a long time between fights. How is this whole, I guess, few months with lockdown and all that kind of stuff set you back or changed your plan for the year?
Yeah, well, it was meant to be September 18th or something like that. So it's been a few months in training camp here at the COVID Academy. We weren't able to train at combat, so we're just doing what we can, and but definitely working 100%. We got Yas and Yas, Jaylee Shaw, a few of the other team members, the coaches helping me out. So I'm definitely ready. I'm fit. I'm strong. Got some things to do. So pretty happy.
I mean, you've been not long in your professional MMA career, but you've made a pretty big splash pretty quickly. Did you expect to sort of be holding gold so soon? I mean, I remember watching a King in the Ring show just a couple of years ago, maybe even last year, where you made your MMA debut.
Yeah, that was against Logan Price. It was the first fight I had under Dan, so I was a bit nervous that fight, and having a coach that actually coaches you through the fight, I wasn't really used to that. It's pretty different. So yeah, I had my first pro fight, and it's just kind of trying to make a trail behind me of all the people that want to take from me what I really want in life. So I'm happy to do that, and I'm happy to keep doing it until I get to a position where the big wigs start looking towards me. So exciting times.
Before we start looking at the fight itself, I want to go sort of back to how your relationship with Dan started. You were one of his first sort of Combat Academy scholarship boys who came through. Obviously impressed him and won your position in the gym. Can you just talk about that whole experience and what that has changed for you?
Yeah, it was crazy. For probably like a month or something, I've been real obsessed. Well, not kind of obsessed, but like really feeling because I was living in Australia at the time, and I was really feeling this pull to come home to New Zealand and for one, just be in my own, what we call in New Zealand, our own whenua, our own land, my feet back in my soil. And also I'd been seeing the city kickboxing boys just smashing goals, doing things that no one else is doing and making waves. And for some reason, I just thought this is where I need to be. Deep inside me, it wasn't something I had consciously thought about. And then I said to my missus, she's Australian. We had 2 kids at the time, and I said to her, I was like, I think I need to move back to New Zealand. And her being her, me being me, she just kind of brushed it off. Yeah. Oh, yep, sweet as. And then a few weeks later, she goes to me, Dan Hooker's having a mentorship audition. Like, you just apply online. And she's like, do it. And I was apprehensive, and she just sat me down and she's like, pulled the computer out, set it all up, and she's like, you just email them your information, why you think that you could be fitting for this. And yeah, I did that, emailed him, and then because I didn't have an email at the time, I wasn't really into technology too much, and she goes, oh, you got a response. So we sat down while we're having dinner, and she opened it up, and I got accepted, and then we're both just sat back in our seat like, oh, okay, we're doing this. So yeah, flew from Brisbane to Auckland City. It was freezing. I was used to the Aussie temperatures and stuff. We started at 8 in the morning, and I hadn't felt the cold like that for like 3 years. It was horrible. And he made us start with like a beep test. So we had, it was actually 9 hours we trained. It was like 60 people. Started with a beep test, then it was a strength test, like pull-ups, press-ups, jump, squats. And then it was like the stretching exercises. That probably lasted for an hour to an hour and a half. And then they made us do drills for like a boxing drills for an hour straight, then kickboxing drills for an hour straight. And then we had to hit pads for another hour. and then they gave us like a water break after like 3.5 hours or something. And I'm used to like a jiu-jitsu gym where you can, come in and off the mats, like just have a quick sit back in there, and I'm just dried right out. Then he made us go for a run. So we ran up One Tree Hill from his gym, which is like a 7K run to One Tree Hill or something like that. And then you got to run to the top. And ran there. He made us run back from One Tree Hill back to the gym. And that's when all the pain started. Like you could see he was definitely enjoying it, He likes a little bit of suffering, that guy. He's definitely something he enjoys to see other people feeling the things that he's felt before. Obviously, because they done the Tiger Muay Thai mentorship thing. So that's probably a little bit worse than the one we did. So we come back to the gym. By then, probably good 20, maybe 30 people had fallen off the wagon. He just kept yelling at people while you're running, because you're running and he's behind you going, you don't have to be here. You don't have to do this. Go home, go have a sleep, go have some lunch, go get some water. Just go. You don't want to do this with your life. This is too hard for you. And then like certain people would just got it to them, and then certain people would pick them up. And we got back to the gym, and then Coach Hostile took over. And that's when you really, really felt it. We're probably 6-7 hours in at this point, maybe closer to 7. He gives us a 10-minute break while everyone else gets back. You have a quick water. If you want to eat fruit, because you're probably going to spew it up, have some fruit. And then Coach Hostile, we're doing punching drills, and then so groups of 3, and someone takes you down. Boom. Someone takes you down. And then so we did that half an hour. Then he made us wrestle for another hour, and just yelling at us, screaming, these people aren't your friends. They want to take your spot. They want to take your spot. And it was like at that moment where my brain just clicked. And I was like, I've flown here. I've used all the rest of the money that me and my missus had. My kids are at home waiting for me. Like, this is my moment. This is the time where I make a difference in my life and everyone around me. So I just went balls to the wall, started throwing people out of the ring and stuff, like chucking people on their heads. And everyone else is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was just thinking, because Coach Hostile was yelling it, they're not your friends. Don't be nice to them. And I was just like, on my head, I was going, nah, up yours. You guys are just here to take my spot. So, yeah. And then it finished. I met Dan for like 5 minutes that day. And that was it. Flew back to Aussie. A week later, got told I won the scholarship. So I packed, sold everything that I had, like 3-bedroom house, the whole setup for kids. Jumped on a plane, ended up here December, January, and then just built if you would call it a relationship with I don't think you can have one of those with Dan, eh? No, but just built from there, and try to show Dan that I was here and I was about it. I was ready to put in the work, and it slowly built. I thought I could strike when I got here, but obviously I couldn't based on what I know now. And my fight IQ is a lot higher. So I think progressing through that, it just having time together and learning things from him, I kind of picked up a newfound respect, not just the one that everyone else has for him because of what he's accomplished, but for his mindset. His mindset is absolutely crazy. Like, that dude works, and it's reflective of our gym, because the way that everyone in our gym, they know that's number one. You work, the results come. And then the fight IQ mixed with work ethic, it puts you on another level. And that's why I've made it such a big splash, because the things that we do in the gym and the way that we think and the way that we operate, we don't train for amateur fights like amateurs. The same routine that I have as a pro XFC champion is the same routine that whoever fights on an amateur show on a Sunday down the road has. There's no discrimination. You want to fight to train, you fight to train as the best. And that's the way that we think here. And Dan's really leading from the front with that, because you see him work and you see what the things that he puts into just us, our little team. It's hard not to put yourself in the same positions and work just as hard and create these opportunities to level up, you know. And that's pretty much the gist of mine and Dan's relationship. We everyone's asked me, oh, how's the bro? I was like, well, we don't really talk much. We have our he doesn't like small talk, so our conversations more like, have you done this? Have you sorted that out? This, this, you know, and that's where our mutual respect comes from, because we're both from the same place. I'm trying to achieve the same thing that he's trying to achieve, and I'm just following in his footsteps pretty much.
While we're talking about Dan, he surprised a few people this week by stepping on the scales at 146 pounds. What did you make of that?
He's a very unpredictable person, I could tell you. Yeah, bro, it's pretty scary. That's a scary man at 145. He's a scary man at 155, at 170. Not many people, I think, give him the respect that he actually deserves, especially like people that he's fighting and the weight class that he's in and the fights that he puts on and the way that he does them. You know, he's out there trying to win fights. A lot of these guys don't really do that, but his fight IQ makes him do positioning and all that kind of stuff. So it's more of a long game. You know, you wait to see things and then it eventuates. But that way in that 146, man, if he's actually going to do it, see, because I haven't even spoken to him about this. If he's actually going to do it, it's going to be insane. Like the matchups that he'll have, the same Dan that was at 145 years ago is not the same Dan you see today. You know, he's hanging with the best lightweights in the world. And to drop down a weight class, I think he's going to make a big splash there. Like, there's not a lot of people that will stand in his way, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think the plan is to see what sort of like test results he gets back after having done the cut from all the people over at the UFC PI. I mean, while he's over there, might as well make the most of it. And like, if they decide, you know, it's something worth that he can do like healthily, then they'll look into it. That's what Eugene's told me. I talked to him just before this. So yeah, wait and see there, I guess. Back to yourself though. Your last title defense in April. Sorry, I just had to count the months on my fingers. Again, against Logan Price. The first time you guys fought, you got a majority decision. This time around, a pretty emphatic stoppage. Did you feel like you had made just vast improvements between the first and the second fight, or was it just a matter of how the fights played out?
Yeah, like we level up pretty regularly at this gym. That's what I'm saying. Like, my fight IQ, my striking ability now is worlds beyond the man that fought Logan Price the first time. I think I was interested in this to see what he was bringing to the table. I wasn't sure how much he had improved and what his game plan was. Obviously, he's seen me fight a few more times since we met. So he come out in southpaw. But mate, I tell you, at this gym, we have this man that you'll probably be speaking to in the next year, at least, maybe 2 years max. His name's Nate Law. That man he's a thoroughbred man, and he's a southpaw. Probably fighting a welterweight, and training with him, there's southpaw kicks and all the southpaw defense and positioning and stuff with southpaw and how to enter on a southpaw. That's something that I have to deal with on a regular basis. So I was pretty comfortable with that. And that's that kick return. That's something that we've done since I got here years ago, like 3 years ago. That kick return is something that we have done week in, week out. Catch, counter. You know, that's something that Dan likes to instill in mostly me, because I like to punch. Everyone likes to kick me, so just to keep their range. Not as comfortable banging with me, but yeah, it's just a testament to what we do here. I feinted him out the kick. The kick came. I countered the kick, landed a nice clean left hook, and I tell you what, everyone's been running away from this hand, but watch out for this one these days. So it's coming from both angles. Like you know, I got punch power on both hands now, and he just dropped. I was kind of shocked, so I just jumped on him and tried to get a rear naked, but it wasn't. He was defending well with his hand control, with his hand fighting, and his controlling of my forearm and stuff with his neck. So I just bailed, try to throw him down to take his back, and he turned and then just capitalized on the turn and finished them off.
Nice way to defend the belt, right?
Yeah, well, it's definitely nice to have a fight with someone and then improve on the way that you beat them. Because it was like a close decision. It was only a 2-rounder the first fight because we were on Sky TV. It's on a kickboxing show. They didn't want it to go over time, so they pulled it to 2 rounds, and then just come away with the first one and made it definitive on the second.
That was a little bit of a weird one that first time around. Like even just having the mixed martial arts in the kickboxing ring where you'd sort of get on the ground in the corner and you'd be like caught up in the ropes,
hanging at the bottom of the ropes. And the weird thing was, like, he was, because he knew I was going to try to take him down, because most of my fights in Australia I was like real high into the pressure game, and wrestling and jiu-jitsu was mostly my game over there. So when I went to, he backed towards the ring I didn't know this at the time, but Dan filmed me, and he backed towards the ring on purpose. So when I went to take him down, he could pull his leg underneath the bottom rope to help him sprawl, because he's got like a counterbalance. So when I go to pick him up, he would catch his bottom of his leg on the rope, which would keep him down. And he was quite strong. He was actually a lot stronger than I thought he would be. But there was something different. It was really, really odd. Because I'm used to just smash people into the cage, control until I find the hole, and then try and do something from there. But couldn't really do that at all.
Oh well, interesting experience to have.
Definitely. I felt like, I've practiced ever since. Just in case that one time when we end up back in the ring for some odd reason, what the universe is like. At least I know how to deal with that.
Exactly. And next month, XFC 54 against Nick Thornton. What do you know about him?
I know that he loves to fight, that's for sure. He's definitely game, good jiu-jitsu guy. He's a bit taller than me, so probably want to keep his range and see how that works for him. It'd be a bit like I was talking to what's his name? Can't remember his name right now. John. And he was asking me about if I was worried about the takedowns and stuff. I was like, well, I'm quite short. Like, to get a level change on me would be pretty difficult, but I welcome it. I love a good wrestle. So just feel him out first, see what he wants to do, and then put some pressure on him, see how he deals with that. I'm not really too worried about going to the ground with him. I feel like my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu background and the coaches that I've been drilling with have got me prepared for it. So I'm happy to go into all areas, all worlds, and see if I can conquer all of them.
In terms of what you're hoping to achieve in the sport, I mean, everyone talks about getting to the UFC one day. From where you sit at the moment, 4-0, do you feel like you need to get over to Australia and get on some of these cards like Eternal, and just to mix up the guys who you can fight against before you're able to make that bigger splash to the big names?
Yeah, I'm keen to go, and there's been a few people calling me out over there and blowing some smoke in my direction. But I said to them, because they're like tagging me in stories and doing weird shit like shadow boxing, and to me that blows my mind. I'm like, bro, just message the promoter and then message my coach, and I'll fight anybody. That's like my coach and my team are the ones that make those decisions. I just turn up the training, and if they let me close the door in the cage with somebody, I'm excited. That definitely gets me out of bed in the morning. So whatever happens, and I just go off what my coaches want me to do. I'll be more than happy to go over there and bang a few heads together in Aussie, because I lived there for 10 years, so there's probably a few people that do want to give me a hiding. So yeah, I welcome it. But whatever happens. I'm happy to just keep mowing people down and showing that I am worthy of that shot. Because if you really want to find out, if you really want to know if I'm about it, sign the contract. We'll get it done. You know, I ain't dodging anybody. I'm here to do it the hard way and make sure that once I do get there, no one's questioning my name from behind me. Because if they are, they had the opportunity, and they still have the opportunity now to put both of us on a stage and see who gets to walk out the victor. Because when push comes to shove, everyone talks, but ain't no one signing the paper. So. But yeah, come one, come all. Let's do this.
Have you had a few sort of fights that people did say they want, and then it came to actually putting pen to paper and they didn't happen? Like, have you actually had that happen to you?
I've had people message me personally and be like, "Yeah, let's do this," and then I'll just message the promoter and say, "Oh, well, I'll talk to Dan or whatever and sort it out." But then it just never eventuates. So, you know, if you really want it, it's there. And I do like to eat. I do like to eat, so but often as you can feed me, the better.
Oh yeah, man. And just before I let you go, like you said, you lived in Australia for 10 years before you came back home. Was there anything particularly difficult about readjusting to New Zealand life? I know you mentioned the cold just before, and did the wife take a little while to, to accustomize herself?
She, the people are definitely different. The culture of the society is definitely different. She actually loves New Zealand. But I brought her over here when we were quite young, and she ever since then she was in love with the place. But convincing her family, obviously, because I'm taking their daughter to a different country to beat people up. You know, that's not really a good sales tactic if you're talking to someone's parents.
How did that conversation go?
Oh, it was rough, bro. But they're good people, you know. They're understanding. They see that I'm trying to accomplish something, and I look after their daughter. So, yeah, it was a bit rough trying to convince them at first. They weren't really keen, but the more they see me accomplish and the more they see me work, they can see it's paying off. And she's happy. She loves it here. She got some good friends around there now, and that's cool. But yeah, the climate of people is different. I had to do it when I moved to Australia. So here I grew up pretty much like in the bush and then in the hood. So you walk down the road, especially in South Auckland, and you look at someone, and, you know, you're pretty likely going to get into a fight because that's just the culture here. You know, you've got an eye problem. You're looking at me. You know, and then most ways you respond, you're going to get into a fight. Even if you say no, they're going to think, oh, well, he's target. I'll go and fight him. But I was real edgy, you know, because I had grown up in this culture. I was real worried about my surroundings, like in that survival mindset. So going over there, people stare at you, and they'll stare right at your face, and then you'll go, "Do you have a problem? Do you have a problem?" And they'll be like, "No, do you have a problem?" And then I'm thinking, you know, that's an initiation to start some physical altercation. But to them, they'll just argue with me. And that was different. It took me a while to adjust that. I learned to let it go and just walk past people. Or smile, you know, you could just smile. That's another option. Oh, hey, how you going? And they're just like, oh, hey. Then it just nullifies the whole thing. But I think just coming back, just the different cultures. We got like a pretty open gang culture in New Zealand, which is a bit shocking to her. Australia, all the gangs are real hidden. You don't see them at all. They're not wearing their patches around. They don't, you know, they're not really as boisterous in their ways. Whereas here, it's a bit more obvious, and it's a bit more intimidating and uncomfortable to normal society. But she's spent enough time around me. She knows real people from fake people, and she knows how to deal with situations like that. So she's become accustomed to. I think actually, I'll tell you a funny story. She was yesterday. She was helping this lady who whose kid locked their keys in the car at the gas station. So they're trying to help this. She's trying to help this lady. As they're helping them, someone cuts off someone else in the middle of Papakura. The guys jump out and just smash this other dude, like a few meters away from my missus. And my missus, back when we moved here, would have just freaked. She would have left this lady by herself and just gapped it, got in her car and left. But she was so calm about it. She carried on helping this lady, got the car open. The baby was okay. Everything was good. And then, she laughed with the other lady about, oh, look at these idiots. They were just doing this on the street. And it's like a polar opposite to the way that she would have dealt with it to begin with. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but hey.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, my bro.
Oh, good, man. Well, that's all the time I need to take off your hands today. Thank you very much for joining us, and all the best in the middle of next month. All going well, you'll be able to get down to Dunedin and put on a show.
Thank you very much, brother, and I'll definitely put on a show for us. Appreciate your time.